You're listening to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast, the show that proves no one stumbles upon success ever. With your host, Lou Need. Every Mondays and Thursdays, we deliver cold hard evidence behind the power of a robust morning routine. Get ready to be transformed by the renewal of your mind.
Hello, morning enthusiasts. Welcome to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast. I am your host, Looney Lewis, and today I have the honor of introducing a very special guest to the show, Howie Zales. Howie is an Emmy Award-winning camera operator who turned his passion for television broadcasting into several entrepreneurial endeavors. Howie created HJZ Productions in 2000 to address the need for professional level sports crewing staffing in the New York market. Under his leadership, HJZ Productions grew to a multi-million nationwide provider of top talent in the broadcasting field. And in 2019, Howie and his team founded Viridity Entertainment Services, also known as VES, which initially focused on staffing in non-union markets. But with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in early 2020, they quickly pivoted to offering best-in-class broadcast quality live streams of professional sports shows and corporate interviews and meetings. And he has been doing this nationwide and thriving. So with no further ado, Howie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
It's an honor, an absolute pleasure to have you here. Now, I know you have an extensive background being in this industry, so I'm curious, just tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got here.
Well, my journey started in high school, actually. I needed an elective to round out my schedule. And TV production class sounded really cool, especially with a trip to NBC studios and to watch a television show being taped. So I took that course, fell in love with television, and I joined it with my love for sports and knew that that's where I was destined, was to be in the sports television field.
Yeah, so you got an early start right into high school.
Yeah, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I only targeted colleges that had well-known TV programs, and, I hit the ground running as soon as I graduated college.
Yeah, and so you were doing it mostly for sports, right? So the Emmy Award was for sports production.
Yeah, I do sports and entertainment, but I concentrated in sports, and the Emmy that we won was for the Beijing Olympics. I've had the great opportunity to travel the world and do sporting events and entertainment events all over the world, and the Olympics being probably one of the best events ever.
Yeah, and you got the opportunity to be there, so that's pretty phenomenal.
Yes.
How was that experience for you?
The Olympics is an amazing experience because everyone's there to have a great time, and I've been to great cities, internationally, and it's just a fun event because everyone wants the athletes to win. And working for NBC and our broadcasts back at home and is a great experience. And I've had the great fortune to work on some great venues. In the Summer Olympics, I do gymnastics. And the Winter Olympics, I've done figure skating. So two big venues.
Mm-hmm. And then the pivot to actually broadcasting and streaming right now. I can imagine, right? I'm thinking Tony Robbins, he wants to throw an event and he wants to do it virtually. And you would be the type of person he would call to actually set that all up. So streaming is easy.
Yeah. We have HJZ Productions, which is our television hiring business, which I started back in 2000. And, that was going great. We kind of scaled it up to a multi-million-dollar business. And then March 11th happened when everything got canceled.
Yep.
And we had another company in the works that we had just started called Viridity Entertainment Services, VES. And throughout the beginnings of the pandemic, I met some people in the television business that I hadn't met before. And I met this one guy who my kind of like team of light, my gut instinct said, this is someone you got to like really, really get to know, because I have no idea why.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out that, he kind of steered me in the direction of this live streaming business. And very early on, in like June of this past year, I'm Jewish, and I know that our temple needed for the holidays to kind of swerve and pivot and do their high holiday services in a virtual world. So I kind of taught myself, I learned a lot. And then I said, you know what? There's got to be a good pivot for my profession, and I got to learn to monetize this. And we did. And we, in a very short period of time, made great strides. And we're one of the leading companies in the country for live streaming. We do interviews, cooking shows, cooking demonstrations, all different kinds of talks, corporate meetings, all different types of events.
Mm-hmm. For the live streaming, give us a little more details of what that entails to actually make that seamless.
So it's a team of about 3 to 4 of us, depending on the type of event. And we invested in some equipment. We have high-end laptops with high definition cameras and lights and microphones that we send out to whoever is going to be a part of the production. And we go in, we can remotely focus the camera and change the color temperature of the camera and make sure that it looks and sounds as a professional broadcast should sound and look. And then we can remotely do a production, whether it's an interview, whether it's any type of broadcast, and then we can stream it anywhere in the world. And I'm in my house. My director's in his house. The audio person is in his house, and it's perfect for the whole, COVID situation. And it allows our clients to get their content out there at a cost that's less expensive to them, because there's no traveling involved. The equipment is very minimal. In most cases, it's just computers with high-end cameras. So it really helps our clients get their content out there in a cheaper fashion.
You're playing a pivotal role, because what I'm hearing is, as a creator, all I have to do is show up. You set up everything. Like, you bring all the equipment. I have just to deliver the message, deliver the content.
Yep. We literally send our computers out there to whoever is going to be in our show. They're responsible for literally opening the laptop, plugging it in, connecting to the internet, and then we can take over remotely. They don't have to do anything. Even if they don't even know how to use a computer, all they have to do is push the button to turn it on, and we can take control of it. And they just have to sit in front of the camera and do the interview or be a part of the production, whatever the broadcast is.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I can imagine with a lot of webinars being happening right now. So it's essential to have that setup.
Absolutely.
In your home. And so you just rent everything. You don't have to pay for any new equipment that you may not use again, right?
Yeah, we upkeep our equipment before we send it out. It's a constant, updating our computers and our equipment, but the commute is a lot less just from my bedroom to my office instead of flying 50 weeks a year, which I have done.
Yeah. So traveling is saving a lot of time, right? Just the 9 to 5 going 20 minutes to an hour to work saves you time and energy, but also stress level is decreased due to that.
Absolutely. I used to travel 50 weeks a year, sometimes 2 to 3 flights a day. So not having to travel is obviously better for me, better for my family.
Yeah. Do you see yourself going back to the traveling and doing all that? Because your business has pivoted. You found a new way, right?
Yeah, absolutely not. I only want to travel for vacation. I want to come to San Diego.
I don't blame you. I feel like that with the pandemic, that's what's happening. There's no way of going back to the norm, to what was our norm. But it also has helped us to be a lot more creative, right? A lot more innovative in finding ways to solve our problems, but to continue to be relevant.
Exactly. When I use the date March 11th, that's because that's the date we lost all my first company, HJZ Productions, are the hiring company. We hire TV crews for sports and entertainment events nationwide. And that's the date that we had of our last show, and everything got canceled through the summer. So we had to lay people off and cancel TV crews. And so we knew we needed to pivot, right? So it was just like constant the thought processes. How do we turn this into a positive?
And that you did, because now you get to serve the thousands and millions of people that actually need the service, because everyone's working from home. Everyone's conducting business from home, out of the comfort of their home. And this is such a necessary service.
Yeah, and clients still want their productions to be of broadcast quality. And that's what we pride ourselves in offering.
Yeah. Did you do speaking events as well?
I developed a course prior to the pandemic and wrote a book on how to help new and younger people get into the television, sports, and entertainment business. So I've taught, but I haven't spoken publicly yet. But we just wanted a way to give back to younger kids, because I've always had mentors and I still have mentors, and that's the only way to kind of grow and learn. So being a mentor for younger people is something that's very important to me as well.
Yeah. And I love that you brought that piece up about mentoring and seeking coaching, because with that opportunity is you get to learn your expertise that took you, 10 plus years to learn. You can transfer that information, that data, in a matter of months. And you're saving me years.
Absolutely. We're saving years. We're helping people earn money quicker than what it took me. I know the mistakes and the hardships that it took me to get started. And so that was one of my whys, quote whys, of creating the course, is because I knew how difficult it was to get started. So I wanted to help people navigate that. And also it was going to help me to stop traveling. So that's, our big reason for creating the course.
Yeah, it's a great way to give back, because I find that a lot of people don't know where to start. And so if we provide that leg to stand on, or that shoulder to stand on off in the meantime as they get their own footing, it's quite fulfilling, and give us purpose at the same time.
Yeah, I've done some big events. I've traveled to many countries to do these events, and two of the best days professionally are when I taught my course. Being able to, give back the knowledge that I've learned over the course of years.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about purpose. Like, you've been at this since 16, 17 years old.
Like in college, I was shooting and directing in college. So yeah, I've been at this almost 30 years, 20 plus years.
Yeah. And so you found your purpose quite early on, where when a lot of us are struggling to get to that, and because we know the importance of finding your purpose. So tell us about how you coming upon your purpose and what it has done for your life in terms of fulfillment and joy.
Great. There are not many people that can say they love what they do. I truly love what I do. I don't think of it as a job. The worst part of it was the traveling, but I love what I do, and getting to be in the midst of the winners at the Olympics, or with the winning horse at the Kentucky Derby, or any type of event for me was the best feeling. Or being with the winning quarterback at the Super Bowl was just, is exactly what I dreamed of.
Mm-hmm. It's so fulfilling. It wakes you up in the morning with joy. It doesn't feel like work ever.
No. Even
when you're doing 12, 16-hour days, some days I sleep 1 hour. I dedicate, all right, I'm going to pull on all-nighter 3 days a month or something, but it doesn't feel like work.
Right.
It's a lot more enjoyable because you're adding value. You're giving back. It's the purpose that it gives you in life that makes it so worth it.
Absolutely.
I want to get into your habits and your principles, of course, your morning routine. So tell us, how do you get up, dress up, and show up?
Sure. So my morning routine starts the night before. Before in bed, when my head is going in a million directions, I write down kind of in my phone in like the notes section, the 3 or 4 things I want to accomplish the next morning. I kind of get that out of my head. Then recently, my wife and I kind of took up meditation. We do like a 5 or 10 minute quick relaxation type thing. We watch like one show, and I'm sleeping by 9:30, 10 o'clock on most nights. I wake up at 5 a.m. No one else is up in the house. I sneak out of the bedroom while having a cup of coffee. I'm on my computer doing those 3 or 4 things that I wrote down the night before. I do not. As soon as my alarm wakes up at 5 a.m., I'm up. That's my first win of the day.
Yeah.
And my 3 through 5 wins of the day are accomplishing those 3 things I wrote down the night before. And then it's a quick something high in protein meal. And then a 1-hour workout. Nice. And then another win, right? Mm-hmm. Keep stacking the little wins that are important to begin your day. Then it's off to the races, whatever is scheduled for the day or comes up.
Yeah, you prepared yourself. You primed yourself. You have to do that. Allocate the time for you in the morning before you get off and start off for the races. Because what the energy the day's going to throw at you, it doesn't matter because you took care of yourself.
Yeah, and I've already, before the 9 o'clock hour, I've already had 4 wins.
That's awesome. And it sounds like you get impulse sleep, right? Because you're going to bed between 10 and 5, and that's just when you get the most regenerative sleep.
Yeah, I don't even have to set my alarm, and my body wakes up at 5 a.m. I set it just in case, but it's my body is now conditioned to do that.
Yeah.
And I've had, I've listened to a lot of podcasts, and I have a business coach, 2 or 3, and I've kind of learned all this over the course of years, and it's definitely, having a morning routine is so important because it gets you those wins before the day even starts. Before anyone else is out of bed, it gets you those wins.
Yeah, and you're most creative during the day, during the morning, right?
Absolutely. When no one's up and there's nothing to do, no distractions, no disruptions. And one thing is I don't check my email. I don't go on social media. In most cases, I use my phone as a flashlight because it's dark. Mm-hmm. But and then I turn it right side over so I don't get distracted.
Yeah, so that you can focus. Because if you start with the emails or even social media, you've just allowed other people's agendas for you, not your own anymore.
And who needs to hear from you at 5 a.m? So
right. So it's crucial to actually spend that time in the morning. And I love that you're moving the body too. You're exercising. Like my day cannot start until I exercise. It's just not going to be the same.
Eating healthy and exercise are huge parts of our lives, and my wife and I do it together. So we, balance each other out and help each other. So it works great. And
those are your principles. Those are the habits. They're the non-negotiables, right?
Perfect word for it. Yep.
Yeah, I completely understand. Getting up after 6 o'clock to me is late. If I'm not up between 4:30 and 5:30, my day's already started on a bad foot.
Yeah, it stresses me out that I'm not on my routine. I'm not in my hours that I need.
Yeah, so we share that. Thank you for sharing. I love it when successful entrepreneurs come on here and tell me the truth and talk about what actually contributes to their success is these non-negotiables, like that morning routine, having that time. And I like the piece about your morning routine starts the night before because you actually are brain dumping per se.
Yes. Yeah. And I learned that from a business coach of mine a while back ago. And it helps because then I find that once in a while I don't do that. And then I wake up a little lost.
You know why?
Why?
Because you should not go to sleep without giving the subconscious something to work on.
Exactly.
And so it's ladder-gagging and daydreaming and wandering off because it doesn't have it's not directed. When you put those points together, when you do the brain dump, it knows what to focus on. It knows to go ahead and solve your problems. And so when you wake up, you do feel refreshed, you feel directed, and the answers are coming to you.
Yeah, and I try every Sunday morning while we're, kind of sitting in bed watching the news or TV and having coffee to kind of plan my week. I try to decide what I need to do on each day that is important, and I plan out the most important things for the week, and that in turns, gets me going. That's the first part of the morning routine starts on Sundays.
Yeah. planning. If you plan to fail, you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right?
Yeah.
When Denzel Washington said, you got to put it into paper and putting into a plan.
I loved your podcast, which was mid-January about dreaming big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It totally spoke to me because I read a book by Laura Lynn Jackson not too long ago, and she had said, you got to write a letter to the universe. And it kind of went along the same things that you spoke about dreaming big. You got to tell the universe what you want. And with hard work, it'll come.
It's such a begging call. It's like a floodgate waiting to flood your way. But we don't often know what we want, or we don't ask at all.
Right. And if you put it down on paper and you make yourself responsible for that, with hard work, it'll come. You'll get what you want. But like you said, if you don't dream it or write it down or think about it, you'll never get what you want.
Yeah, I did another piece on lottery winners. For 24 hours, when you play the lottery, $1 gives you that fantasy that you can possibly be a millionaire.
Right.
Within the next 24 hours. So that's dreaming big again. It's good to exercise that muscle because it becomes a lot easier to do. And then you start actually making the things you dream a reality. You start making it happen by the actions you take. And those are the habits that you have. Show me your habits and I'll tell you where you'll be in 10 years.
Right. Totally true.
It's so simple. It really is that the principles, the actions that you take on a daily basis. And you got to be able to think about the bigger picture at all times, even when you're doing the little things.
Exactly.
Think of the bigger picture. Now, Howie, this is great. And I'm getting ready to ask you about how to connect with you. Now, with doing all that, some people may not have the purpose. If you don't have the purpose, then none of this resonates. There has to be a need to say, this is what I love doing and this is what I want to give back to society. And then what we are talking about makes sense. The waking up early, then it drives you. But before then, there has to be a need to find what is it that you love doing and pursuing it.
Right, exactly.
Because that's the way to connect the dots. So please tell us, how can we connect with you?
I'm on all social media, LinkedIn at Howard Zales, Instagram, Facebook at Howie Zales. My website is ViridityEntertainment.com, VIRIDITY, entertainment.com. And Viridity means green. So my personality is I don't get super excited and I stay out of the blue. I don't get super upset when things go bad. I stay out of the red. I just stay even keeled in the green. So that's for Viridity Entertainment Services.
I love that.
And you can reach me at ViridityEntertainment.com.
It's a word on play. You got like the green screen, right?
Yeah. When we were trying to come up with a name for the company, I had learned, someone had told me that. I went to a mastermind not too long ago, and they told me about the red, blue, and green and how you react. And I'm like, boom. That's the name of the company.
It's great. Morning Enthusiasts, this has been Howie Zales. What a great conversation about thinking big and dreaming big and actually the power of brain dumping. I'm really glad, Howie, that you brought that back up today because we tend to forget the importance of actually writing down our goals, our thoughts, and our initiative, things that we're going to work on and allowing the subconscious mind to direct us overnight. It is working for us and it's beautifully at our beck and call just as the universe, but we have to ask. We first have to ask. And so, Howie, I thank you so much for your presence this morning and spending some time with us.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
It's an absolute delight.
All right, morning enthusiasts, that's it for today's show. Thank you for tuning in. If you love the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast, we'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and subscribe, rate, and give a review on iTunes or Google Play. While you're at it, tell a friend about the show. Be sure to visit bestmorningroutineever.com and our Facebook group to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover our fantastic free bonus content. Until next time,